So give Winland a 17-yard run on that play.
And I tell you, Gilcher trained, he gets a lot of attention right there, and nobody stayed back side looking for left here and open. John Glenn 7, Meadowbrook 0. We'll take a timeout and be right back here on KGP TV.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I should have closed that down or not.
Running a little wildcat, and he will be dropped.
Give it looks like Walker Cannon and 45 Connor Sensabaugh all in on that tackle. So a host of Muskies making the play there. I know scouting Coach Edwards and those guys are ready for when Norman came in and expecting a run out of that. And guess what? Norman drew him off there with the hand slap. The patented Meadowbrook play. It's a guaranteed 5-yard gain every time. You don't see a whole bunch of teams use it, but I think Meadowbrook has perfected that craft over the years.
I think he was trying to throw the ball. Nice punt. Had about 45 yards of hang time in the air, so. But that'll give the Muskies still pretty solid field position here at their own 40, leading 7-0.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing there, they lost Morrison as a playmaker and punter on this Meadowbrook team, but they also found Clendenning can handle those jobs if need be, and he boomed that one very well to force the Muskies back at their own 40.
Yeah, and we apologize for some of the technical difficulties we've had. I think we're not the only ones up here having it, as Gilcher gets a nice gain of about 8 yards.
So a good 7-yard run from Gilcher. He's been able to get up between the tackles and pick up some tough yards on the inside.
Yeah, Lincoln Gilcher, he's an outstanding running back. And this time Winland's going to keep it, and he's got to hook 46-yard line. Will not allow that substitution to happen. So Winland, he's had 2 nice runs. And there's a throw out to Walker. He gets straight instead of me. As Wow taking this possibly.
Shot through 39 yards for the touchdown. Good job by the Muskies there. 4:40 to go in the opening quarter.
So extra point is coming. And the kick is up and good by Rector. 4:40 left. John Glenn out to the early 14-0 lead. We'll be back after this timeout on KGP. Set to kick off. Ball will be fielded at the 10, 20, 25, 30 to the 38-yard line.
Good return
there
by Cooper.
Away.
Yep. Cooper.
Young Colt cheerleaders. I think there's about 102 of them down there.
They're excited to be here.
So now it's back to action, 1st and 10 from the 38. Huey into pistol, will give it to Bob.
Fakes it, he fakes it.
He kept it, and it's a good thing. He gets to the 45.
Barnhouse and Fox combined on the tackle for the Muskies. Great job there by Justice Huey. I was watching him the whole time. He had that in Bop's stomach and pulled it out at the perfect time. Even had my partner in crime here fooled, but and that doesn't happen very often.
He okey-doked me. Well, I had the running back. That was my responsibility. Your job was supposed to read the quarterback and take him.
You did start Bop on your fantasy high school football team, so you were hoping he'd get the carry.
But it's a good thing for Bop he didn't get the ball there, because he would have lost about 3 to 4 yards. As McManaway to the right.
Here's a little option look. And Huey doesn't have anything, as it's number 4 for Cash Smith. Drives him down. Well, didn't really drive him down, but pushed him back, met him at the 42.
And I guess you could say that was a money play defensively there by Cash Smith. And that.
So unfortunately for the Colts, as great as that last play was, an 8-yard run from Huey, they're going to lose 4 here, and that's just the consistency, finding those consistent chunks of yards, putting those yards together, not having the 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
And Meadowbrook's also
hold on the Colts, but we'll wait for and it is on the Muskies, so.
And I tell you, and that's going to be the 15-yard variety to take it down inside the 25 and train. Did you see the push, the Meadowbrook offensive line? They were all 4 to 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. So first down and 10, ball at the 24. Bop has it, and he's going to be ran out of bounds. Very short gain. Cash Smith again.
Field on the Colts. And it just goes again to the 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
And that was to Norman, correct?
It was Hughes 6, but it's
procedure against Meadowbrook. So, wow. Take the touchdown off the board. And 15 yards in penalties.
Hey, this right here, great decision by Coach Norman. I love this because you talk about momentum, and momentum's big in any sport. And like usually you call the timeouts in basketball to stop another team's momentum. But he called this timeout right here. He's got a young team. This is an opportunity for them to kind of get the kids, calm down. You're fine. Let's figure out what we're doing here. Let's tighten some things up. We've proved this drive that we can move the football. So now let's continue what we built on this drive and get it into the end zone.
Yeah, and you're right. And training plus, it's 2nd and 18. Meadowbrook with the ball at the 32. They're probably thinking another thing, the timeout, hey, we've got 3 plays to try to pick up 18 yards. So my math is right. You got to hit about 6 yards a play if you want to do that. But, Train, let's go to our KGP weather correspondent, Jenny Leggett, with tonight's weather forecast for our game. It's calling for perfect weather for football with a slight chance of some balls falling from the sky at area fields, along with a greater chance of the sounds of thunder coming from the crowds. So that's our.
Well, hey, as long as there's no lightning, I'm okay. We don't want a lightning delay like you had to week 1 when Caldwell and Buckeye Trail played on this field.
Longest game in KGP history as Norman.
And I tell you what, that's the man. Walker and Bop hit each other hard there, and Bop is down. And, yeah, and you can tell Nathan looks back, doesn't like what he saw there as Norman kept it for a 2-yard gain. But this definitely isn't good for the Colts. I mean, I'm no relation, and Sam Bop could walk into the KGP studios one day, and I may not even recognize him. But, man, I just love the heart that kid has. And at 5'6", 140 pounds, and he plays like he's about 6'1", 220. So and you just hate to see this for any kid, really.
And right, and to say that Bop is the #1 priority for John Glenn's defense would probably be an understatement, because even the times the balls have been, the handoffs have been faked to them, there's somebody there to meet them. And Walker, nothing, that play was completely clean. It was a read handoff. Norman kept it, and Bop, he really took a shot. So
yeah, and it's never scary, especially when you got a young man. setting up a little bit now. So, but both these teams have suffered enough injuries this year. I mean, they're worse than my fantasy team right now when it comes to injuries, and you don't want to see these young men go down with injuries, especially Sam Bopp, who's a senior, and this is his kind of last go around at it for high school football.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, as they.
And he's getting up here, so that's great to see.
And you know the old saying, you have your bell rung, it's probably going to ring for a little bit for Sam Bopp. But what a tough kid right there. So he's coming off the sideline to the sideline on his own power. So we'll keep it here. So now it's going to be 3rd down. Meadowbrook has to get.
It's be 3rd and 16. It looks like.
Yeah, they have to get to about the 14-yard line.
So there is no trainer tent in high school football like there is in the NFL. So you can see trainer Mike's down there with Bopp. I'm sure he's going to be testing him, making sure he's.
And Huey's got running room as he made one man miss. 1st down to the 10-yard line. So about a 20-yard scamper there by Huey. As wow, did that open up.
You ain't kidding. Wow, it just all of a sudden the parting of the Red Sea there, so to speak, as he had all the room to run in the world and a big 20-yard gain, like you said.
And Train, we talked about that same thing with
we're going to mark it at the 8. Yeah.
And he will get right back to the was Nick Zanders.
Really, I'm just waiting for the time where they let Nick Norman toss the pigskin around a little bit. I think teams have kind of seen it enough to where they know he's in the ball game, that they're going to run the ball a lot, so they're kind of prepared for him. Now let's throw some different wrinkles in there. And I believe they got the Muskies for the 2nd time tonight on the jump. Should be half the distance, and they're going to be at the 4.
And Train in for Bopp is Dalen
Rivera.
Yeah.
And score update, Martins Ferry leading Cambridge 6-3. We'll find
corner to the 2-1 touchdown Meadowbrook. They had one touchdown taken off the board because of a penalty, but they finished this one. So Rivera, 4-yard touchdown run, and Meadowbrook right back into this game with 29 seconds left in the quarter as Milam will attempt the extra point.
And the play of that drive was the big 22-yard run out of Justice Huey on 3rd and long. Talk about a huge, huge play.
And Train, how about a shout out to our fine sponsors?
All right, we want to thank our sponsors, Graham Excavating, Main Screen Printing, Westfall Services, GB Roofing, and Teal Dove Consulting. We thank them so much for providing us the opportunity to provide this live stream for you. So a great drive finished by the Colts for the 4-yard touchdown by Dalen Rivera. Meadowbrook really kind of got it down the field with a couple nice plays, and then some penalties kind of hurt him, but a big time, believe, broke a couple tackles on his 22-yard run.
Yeah.
It was going to get hit right at the line of scrimmage. Justice Huey was able to kind of escape the shoestring tackle and picked up 22 of the biggest yards of the night for the Colts.
Yeah, it's once the 10 to the 8, and Meadowbrook would answer.
So here's a little answer, and they got a holder on the keys. I believe it's number 14. Oops, I almost looked at the wrong team. I was like, that's not a Dalen Rivera on the tackle.
Yeah, and Evan Dyer there as well. Run out. So we'll take a timeout and come back. All right, welcome back. 2nd down and 5. Gilcher will be stood up right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 4. Big play here. Meadowbrook can force a 3-and-out. Glenn looked unstoppable. Their last
pass, either way, it's going to be 4th down. Going to have a
illegal procedure.
So now, and again, John Glenn doing a good job wrapping up on the legs, making sure the guy's going to have to break through some arm. Instead of hitting him high, they're hitting him low, wrapping him around those ankles, and it's tough to break those tackles.
And Trey, Meadowbrook only down 14-7, but man, they've had quite a few plays behind the sticks via tackles for losses and penalties. Huey throws it out in the flat. He's got a man wide open at the 40.
There's another shoestring tackle there.
And to the 35-yard line, that's about a gain of 12.
Norman?
It was Norman or Dyer. Yeah, it was.
I want to say it was Dyer.
We'll call it 4 from the 30. Block for Huey as he will keep it and go right up the gut. But he's going to be stood up.
He was met there. Caden.
Again, boy, John Glenn really.
Right here, John Glenn's got to watch the football here. Meadowbrook's going to try to get him to jump at one point here on this. And as this play clock, no, they're going to quickly hand it off. No, it's not. Kept again. They got me, and Huey's going to have the first down.
And a great decision there by Huey to keep it, and that'll be a first down for Meadowbrook.
And that's something you haven't seen a whole bunch these first 5 weeks. Huey keeping it on that read option is kind of your receiver's able to break a tackle maybe on a safety, and he's gone.
This is Rivera. He gets a nice block by McMahon away, but he's going to lose yardage. Rock.
Yes. Rock again, and 45. I believe that's Connor Sensabaugh also in on the tackle.
And Wise was in there as well.
So that's going to be a loss of 2. So again, Meadowbrook had a nice play on the run, and then first down and second down loss of yardage plays. Now they're in a hole here at 3rd and 14.
Huey rolls out. It is. He's under pressure. He throws it. He's oh!
Good defense there from Kobe Shade.
Yes.
I believe the pass was to Norman.
In stereo. Right there. You're right.
I tell you what, Kobe Shade got up and did the no-fly zone after there, as he may have got just a piece of it to knock it away.
That was outstanding coverage, because Huey threw that right where it had to be. So now 4th down and 14. Muskies looking to get a big stop here and get the ball back up 7. Remember, Meadowbrook will get the ball to start the second half, and the Colts are going to think about it. We'll step aside and think about it as well. 6:59 left here in the first half. Meadowbrook trailing 14-7, seeing a big 4th and 14. Three receivers to the right. Huey looking. He's got to go deep. He's under pressure.
Walker bringing it.
Walker
dives. So good job by Nathan Walker getting the pressure on Huey. Dives, and Huey had to throw it to the sidelines to his man, just overthrown.
Yeah, and Walker gets up. He's hobbling just a little. Let's hope he's okay. I mean, even if that pass would have been completed, it would have been short of the first down, but it would have been down closer to the 20-yard line. But so with the stop there, Muskies have it from their own 32. Nice defense by the Muskie defense there. Meadowbrook had something going. Gilcher lift up in the backfield. Yes, you are correct. That was Austin Steele. So actually a loss of 1 for Gilcher. Winland looking to throw. He gets it out. It's bobbled.
Incomplete.
And that's that John Glenn's offensive line, they've done a good job giving Winland.
You can't ask a freshman to guard someone one-on-one like Nathan Walker, so a good job putting the safety help shade in that side as well.
And Train, I like the play design there and the right idea. You roll Winland to the right and then have him throw back across the field deep. There's the best punt Walker has had, and it is fielded.
And then making the proper adjustments. Coach Brown and his defense, sure they got to be pleased with them getting the stops on the last two drives.
So Meadowbrook has it here, 5:58 left, but back at their own 28. Here's another pass, extra 3 yards or so. We'll call it 2nd and 6, ball at the 32. Tell you what, Train, I don't blame Blankenship. There were a lot of white jerseys around him. And if Walker was one of them, you can understand a couple of the hits he's had tonight.
And this is a big play and a big drive for Meadowbrook. You want to work this clock and score a touchdown here because you also get the ball to start the second half. So it starts with getting a first down here as a screen set up.
Oh, it's set up
Perfect call. Screen to Cooper McManaway. He's got yards.
Yes, 45-40. Down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. And what a beautiful play call by offensive coordinator Taryn Jarrett to get the first down.
So that's going to
for Meadowbrook. Pistol for
their last time out of the first half here.
Yeah, it's a play clock had gotten down to 1 and trained some other scores of note. And at Cambridge, Martins Ferry with a 12-3 lead, surprising keeping Cambridge's offense out of the end zone thus far.
And we got to give a shout out. The MVL Golf postseason tournament was today. Congratulations to the John Glenn Golf team finishing the MVL as champions with a spotless 33-0 record. I believe came in.
Is going to be dropped
Walker.
By Walker.
Good job by Double Nickel, 55. Gunnar Fox with the initial hit that kind of slowed him down, and Walker just cleaned it up. So, again, it's
28-13 with the Pumpkin Festival going on. That's Rivera to about the 32-yard line.
So give Sensible in on the play. Walker in there as well, and we'll say 74, Nick Zanders as well.
So now it's going to be 3rd down and 14. Clock running, nearing the 3:20 mark. Still 15 seconds on the play clock. Meadowbrook not in a big hurry here. Probably 4-down territory. Huey's got time. Steps up, finds a man over the middle, but it is incomplete.
They're going to rule it incomplete, said it touched the turf. Up here, I thought it might have been a catch, but that's why these officials get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, you could tell by Norman's reaction when he got up that the ball had skipped in. Just a little 3:06 left. Like you said, Meadowbrook out of timeouts. Muskies have all 3. They would love to get a stop right here and get the last drive. Huey, he's got time.
He's got room. He may take off again. He's going to fire. And got a guy. Oh.
Incomplete. Nice coverage downfield by the Muskies and the offensive line.
Did a good job for Meadowbrook. Gave him time. Actually, I think the best.
The clock. We'll see. The officials are huddling up.
Well, they're saying 2:59, so 2:59.
Oh, good call, Trey. You
flag down, and it's going to be on
ineligible man downfield. Yeah, they were trying to set a screen up to Gilcher. Gilcher, he got tripped up coming out, but the timing was completely off there. So how about Meadowbrook for the 3rd time in a row they send the Muskie offense to the
tie it at the half. They get it to start the second half. Ground bouncing like that, sometimes you can just bobble it just a little bit, and then if there's some contact, that ball can shoot loose, and then you could possibly talk a fumble recovery rumbling into the end zone for the Muskies.
You know, you had a chance to get a Cubs reference in right there, the way he scooped a short hop there, but for some
was charging at him, and he decided to chuck it down. I didn't say I can't afford. I said I decline to pay for the luxuries of Amazon Prime. But
they've got a entertaining game on paper, at least next Thursday night. Miami at Cincinnati. A lot of offense there, and John Glenn here the last two plays. They've done a nice job not letting Justice Huey hurt him with his legs as he did on the touchdown drive.
Yeah, obviously it's containing Huey here for the Muskies and making sure he doesn't hit a shot down the field, because they don't want to give up the first down. And obviously calling that timeout, the Muskies are showing their hand that they more crack at it here before halftime.
Then found the seam in his own right there, and boy, did he deliver a fastball.
Flag called on it as Shades was on the coverage there with Norman. So
yeah, Edwards, he's showing confidence in his defense right here. It's going to be, what, third down and about 4. But if you're Meadowbrook, you also appreciate the timeout.
Yeah.
Because with you not having timeouts, you now have a chance to let offensive coordinator at the John Glenn 25, 2nd and 10. And there's a little pop pass intended for Norman. And boy, reading that well, they're going to try a field goal.
We're talking 42 yards out. Hey, like I say, this is the most exciting play in high school football. One of the most exciting ones. You're going to try a big field goal 42 yards out.
Milam's kick is up, and it is no good.
I think Barnhouse or Sensible might have athletic director out there, Aaron Bay. I want to say it's at 7 o'clock. They're going to have a little 30-minute.
And wow, was that bubble screen set up nicely, and Walker with his speed, Blankenship saved a touchdown for Meadowbrook. Winland rolling out. He's got a man wide open, couldn't see him. And
Isaac Picari, they're going to combine for the sack.
Breathing down my backside. And Winland didn't think he could get the ball off, or possibly didn't see him because of the pressure. So it's going to be 2nd down and 11. So with the timeout by the Muskies.
And that's, I believe, John Glenn's last timeout. Exception couple weeks ago against Crooksville, picks off another, and a big opportunity as the Colts defense steps up with a big play there with just under 25 seconds to go.
Yeah, go off his hands like that. That was Winland. That may have been his best throw of the night.
And he was open too. It would have been
a
worst case scenario, 1st and goal at maybe the 1-yard line. And Meadowbrook's wisely going to take a knee.
And at the half, we'll take a timeout and enjoy the band.
Riley West on mellophone. Color guard soloists are Reagan Green, Mallory McPeck, and Madeline Haney. Ladies and gentlemen, come home.
Stands under the direction of course, Mr. Ricky Harding, and staff includes Assistant Director Darren McCon, Color Guard Instructor Alice Mashio, Profession Instructor Greg Starkey, Front Ensemble Instructor Michael Loomis, and of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Mr. Robert R.J. Moore, who is our low brass instructor. We missed you during pregame, buddy, so I got you now. The band's led on the field by Senior Field Commander Amy Harper. The Colts marching band.
Electrifying woman in IT, the business. Yeah, he's got moose the next 2 weeks on his own. He wakes up in the middle of the night and has to go to the restroom and take him.
Yeah, she does pretty good. He has anti-vax inside.
I know you said Tuesday that he hasn't had any accidents.
Eugene Capers Field was good, and with 7:31 left in the opening quarter, John Glenn would strike first and lead 7-0. Then John Glenn on their next possession in the second quarter as
Meadowbrook ends the first quarter with a late touchdown, but like you said, that second quarter, all of a sudden kind of teams moved it a little bit, then they got a penalty here or there, a loss of yardage on a play, and just it was kind of the same old, brought the momentum back to Meadowbrook's side. So Meadowbrook's getting the ball here to start the second half. And
Train, before we look at stats, I don't think I've ever done, in all my years of broadcasting, I believe there were 5 possessions in the last 3 minutes of the first half. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think the last 5 minutes of the first half took longer than the first
Yes.
quarter and a half, like you and I were talking about the air.
And there was only one turnover involved, but 5 possessions. It was crazy.
Yeah, a lot of three possessions and a punt. Individual statistics for it's and the unfortunate thing, primary target's been Evan Dyer, 4 catches, 53 yards. Cooper Manaway's got a 40-yard reception. All 6 passes have been completed to Nathan Walker. So definitely, Meadowbrook's starting to kind of get these other weapons, give them an opportunity. And the more people that you can get to make plays in your team, the tougher as a team you are to defend. And that's what Meadowbrook wants. I mean, obviously, you look at the past few years, they've always had, it seems like 3 or 4 guys that can make plays for them. And unfortunately, they're in more of a developing part of the season as they're trying to
downstairs had a chance to get some information on Sam Bopp, and he's out the rest of this game, but he's up, moving around, and is doing fine.
And
was the word I was given.
That's what you want to hear. You never want to see a kid go down with injury when it happens. So thankfully I
think they've just had 2, but they're looking at a big 3rd down here at the 36. Their own 36-yard line. So Huey waiting for the snap. And they'll come right back with the same pass. Incomplete. So.
And I'm guessing, and it's been kind of the case of both teams, that ball's a little colder than what it has been the first 5 weeks of the season. Might be a little bit wetter as the temperatures, there's some dew and everything, because you don't see players the capability of a Nathan Walker, and I know Cooper McManaway is only a freshman, but the kid's going to be a great athlete. He's got good bloodlines. I know it'll be on the mom's side, Tracy, definitely not on the dad's side, Shane, but the good bloodlines there, and got a good athlete. And they're going to make those plays.
And Train, you're right, and they haven't really practiced in this, and the ball does get a little bit slick as calling for the fair catch. Whoa, is Walker.
Speaking of possibly getting away there.
Gilcher and Winland kept the football. But since then, Meadowbrook has pretty much shut the run game. And
those 2 drives where they got the big play. Meadowbrook's
Winland's going to keep
play.
it. He's going
that ball's out.
At the 30.
And Meadowbrook has it.
Wow.
I'm not. Talon Cannon's going to recover it for Meadowbrook. I couldn't tell who knocked it away or who had the sack, but big play by the Colts defense. That's Meadowbrook's 2nd turnover.
And Winland was going to – he had a couple of big runs early in the first half on their touchdown drives where he faked the ball to Gilcher and kept it. As soon as he faked it, he got drilled and fumbled. Here's Rivera around the right side, and he may pick up.
And I believe it was Isaac Picari who made the initial hit and may have knocked the ball out. And he's been a nice help to this Meadowbrook defensive line. He shared a sack earlier. We get credited with the strip sack on that one.
So Rivera, he needed 3 and he got 3. So Meadowbrook, they have forced back-to-back turnovers. One to end the first half. Interception, deflection, that was caught by Burris in the end zone. And now here to start the second half. Down 7, but Meadowbrook with the ball at the Muskie 22.
The opportunistic Meadowbrook defense.
Yeah, Rivera, he turned it over. I think he fumbled, and the Muskies have it. And that was your man,
Cameron Barnhouse.
The Barnhouse that came up, I believe, with the fumble recovery.
Tell you what, talk about kids had a good ball game. Cameron Barnhouse, he's been in there on a lot of tackles, a lot of them solo tackles, most importantly.
And trained the way the teammates are slapping him on the helmet and stuff. He either caused the fumble or recovered the fumble or both.
Yeah.
But he was definitely in on it.
He made a play one way or another.
Gilcher will get maybe a couple of yards.
Yeah, Isaac Picari on the tackle. So we'll give Gilcher 2 yards on the play.
So 2 receivers to the right. Walker split out to the left. Thompson in motion. 2nd and 9. And Gilcher will get to about the 29-yard line.
And we got a flag on the play. It's going to be on John Glenn for a hold, so that's going to negate that nice 6-yard run from Gilcher.
And trained for the second possession this game, Jake Johnson has come in at quarterback.
And he's played a little bit off and on for this John Glenn.
He's got good size, especially for a linebacker.
Cannon shot out of there like a cannon, making the hit. So Nathan Walker going to be punting from the edge of his own end zone here. And again, another 3 and out. Well, actually, the other 2 were turnovers.
Again, that's going to be nice field position for Meadowbrook. So Meadowbrook turns it over in the red zone, but they again force yet another 3 and out.
And of course, Barnhouse was there to down it. He was probably hoping the Meadowbrook return man would pick it up so he'd get another tackle, but he's definitely the gunner on that defense for sure.
So 1st and 10, the ball at the 40. Downfield, and there's a little pop pass to Blankenship, and Huey jumped up and threw it to make sure he got it over the defensive line. That's about a 16-yard gain, and that's Norman. Shade on the tackle, a gain of about 5. Again, Meadowbrook up to the line quickly. Huey will keep it.
He's going to be close. He's got a first down. Should be 1st and goal.
Yeah, it'll be 1st and goal for Meadowbrook. That was Sensible on the tackle for John Glenn.
The Colts having a nice drive here. Nice blend of the pass and the run, the screen to McManway, the nice jump pass to Blankenship, and then just getting little yards after little yards.
Huey keeps it, but he is
for the Muskies.
Yeah, Whiteman, a sophomore. So 2nd down and goal.
He's got some good family ties there. John Glenn people remember Brock Whiteman, who was a standout baseball player for the Muskies. Tanner is a real
14. We'll be back here on KGP TV after this timeout. Welcome back as Milam set to kick off. Wise and Rock back for John Glenn. This will be Rock. He'll field it at the 23-30. Get to about the 34-yard line.
Meadowbrook forgot the tee. Good job out there and getting the tee.
But Train Rector is over there on John Glenn's sideline going, wait a minute. I have to go retrieve my tee.
Well, they did have one of the kids on the sideline looked and it's like, should I go out there and get it? And then he saw Rector running for it. He's like, he's got it. He's good. He knows what he's doing. So we must have a media timeout, but we didn't get the memo on this.
Yeah, the officials, they're over here. Are trying to see, do we have somebody down? Or are they just talking? It's hard.
I don't think there's anybody down. It looks like the trainer's not there, so.
Yes.
Okay, we do.
Cramp.
Yeah.
I think it's a cramp.
Wow,
yeah.
and I said we wouldn't have any cramps, and how about that? We have one.
Yeah, we could. With some of the people standing around, we could not see what it was, so we.
And, well, we have a little bit of time. Earlier this week, these two teams, junior high teams, met up on the gridiron with Meadowbrook's 7th grade picking up, I believe it was a 36-30 victory, and Meadowbrook's 8th grade won 40-0 over John Glenn. There's been a lot of talk about the Meadowbrook 7th and 8th grade teams going to provide Coach Norman and his staff some talents the next year or two. They got some solid players that they're looking forward to see what they can do on under the bright lights of Friday night.
They were trying to see. Is that Steele?
Yeah, 68, I believe that is Austin Steele.
Yes.
Oop. And as you hear, if you can hear Jeff Regan's making the announcement of what I just announced about these two teams playing in junior high football, apparently he must have heard me and thought he should let the entire crowd know instead of the people listening to us on the live stream.
And a couple of updates. Buckeye Trail still leading TCC 20-0 in the third quarter. Cambridge and Martins Ferry tied up at 18 in the fourth.
I thought you were going to say tied up at 12, and I was getting excited thinking Cambridge had a safety at one point. And Gilcher on the carry.
Yeah, Gilcher will get over to 41 as Winland's back in the game at quarterback. Dyer on the tackle.
Yep.
And that's the first time in a while John Glenn's had some positive yardage on first down, and they're going to pick up a first down here. So John Glenn saying, hey, Meadowbrook, we owed you one from earlier in the game. So that's a Muskie first down. And now John Glenn's just really haven't been able to get any rhythm going here their last few possessions. They're trying to get some tempo going here. Winland keeps it. It makes one-man miss. What a.
Stays with it. Nice shoestring tackle there. We're trying to find the number. Is that Black, I believe? Or it's Dyer. See, it's at 6 or 5.
Yeah.
It was Dyer.
Dyer.
I went with time, and it was Dyer. Went with
Blankenship with a nice tackle. And when Rock got the ball on the reverse, it looked like he had some running room. But Blankenship, that's twice he's come up with two big plays just defensively. Yep. Remember, he saved a touchdown running down Walker.
Playing with some confidence. That's what it takes. These kids are building some confidence week in, week out, and starting to see a little bit more consistency as that defensive line wins the battle up front.
And now we'll see what John Glenn wants to do right here, as that was a play that you're thinking, hey, we've got 2 downs, as they go right up after Gilcher's run up the middle, gets 2, so now it's 4th and 4.
And they didn't hesitate one bit getting lined up for this 4th down. And Meadowbrook, again, just like one of these situations earlier for John Glenn, they got to watch the ball, be patient. They're going to try to get them to draw off sides probably here. And of course, I think just like the other time, they didn't.
Oh, nice pass in traffic. And there's Walker, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Wow. A 51-yard touchdown strike. Winland to Walker And you don't think after Walker had the one ball go through his hands at the 5, you don't think that feels good for that kid. But what a strike as he was in triple coverage. And Coach Edwards rolling the dice there, and it pays off. So the Muskies answer the Meadowbrook score with a touchdown of their own. As Rector's extra point is up and good. 2:32 left here in the third.
Yeah, so John Glenn answers 2 minutes and 28 seconds later to reclaim the lead.
And that is Winland's first touchdown pass. And that went to Walker.
And it's been all those completions he's completed. Every one of them has been for all 151 yards of his passing have went to Nathan Walker. It looks like you're catching your inner Vanilla Ice as they're playing Ice Ice Baby.
And I tell you, what a nice crowd we've got tonight. A strong contingent that's made their way down from New Concord. And what an impressive answer by John Glenn.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time over in New Concord area. Muskingum had their home opener last Saturday, had to showcase their new indoor track facility, and it's an indoor press box area. The really nice facility from what I've been told, and looking forward to seeing how that works out and to see some of the luxuries that they're providing the students at the college.
Yeah, it is good to see them gradually getting some nice facilities like that over. Muskingum's an outstanding university, so.
And having those operations only helps get these kids want to come play there. Obviously, I consider like they have the great pipeline John Glenn kids go to Muskingum, but if you can pull some from the other area schools like Cambridge's and Meadowbrooks and even the other schools in the MVL, it can definitely you can probably get a pretty solid Division III program.
So first down and 10, Meadowbrook with the ball at their own 27. Now 2:26 left here in the third. Thanks for joining us here on KGP TV. As that's Rivera, and he gets dropped by Walker.
Somebody lost a helmet there, I think, too. Yeah.
And I think that's Bailey Kuhn. And he has to come off. Yeah, and that was Kuhn. So Meadowbrook has to run in another offensive lineman.
So Steele, who was cramping up earlier, came back into the game. He's checked in at right guard for the Colts.
So second down and 10. Huey fakes
Fakes
it again. Still looking.
Ooh. Tried threading the needle on that one. Incomplete as there was a swarm of Muskie defenders around it.
And Train, I'm thoroughly impressed with the coverage downfield by John Glenn. As Meadowbrook, we said you could tell they were setting up something deep at throwing quite a few wide receiver screens, but John Glenn didn't bite, and just like that, it's third down and 10.
It's going to be another. Yeah. It's going to be
Walker there. Pass intended for Dyer, I believe.
Yep, I believe that's Dyer.
And John Glenn will decline this, so a 3 and out by the Muskie defense. And I tell you, this quarter that it was controlled by Meadowbrook. The first 7 minutes of or so, but John Glenn has taken back control.
Ooh. And Glendenny didn't have one of the better punts, but got a nice bounce, and Walker's going to make a nice return.
Yeah, Walker saved about 10 yards on that and picked up about 10, getting that near midfield.
Yeah, it looks like the Muskies are going to have it at their own 47.
And you almost got to wonder, Train, after the last series where John Glenn, you could tell on their 3rd and 6 when they just ran it up the middle that they knew they were going for it, 4 downs. If the Muskies stay ahead of the sticks on this series, they may be in 4-down territory.
Mm-hmm.
Larrick, tight end goes in motion. Gilcher will run behind them. And Gilcher with back-to-back solid runs to start a drive. As he gets about 7.
7, yeah.
Cannon on the tackle. So approaching a minute 15. Gilcher again off the right side. Very patient running. And he will get a first down.
Yep, going to have first. So from the 46, they're going to mark it to 37, so that's going to be 9 more yards for Logan. So he's up over 50 yards rushing here on the night, and if they can start churning out 5 and 6 yards per play like they kind of did there, those 2 scoring drives in the first half, it's definitely going to help the confidence of this Muskie offense.
Yeah, that's Cannon, Yeagle, and Dyer on that secondary for a gain of about 5. And now John Glenn, they may be content. They are. They're going to let this quarter run out. So 3 quarters in the books here at Eugene Capers Field. Each team adds a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. John Glenn leading 21-14 as we head to break. Train. A shout out to our fine sponsors.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Graham Excavating, Main Screen Printing, Westfall Services, GB Roofing, and Teal Dove Consulting. Thank them for the sponsorship. And if you want to sponsor Caleb Graham Productions, reach him on Facebook.
The Fab Five, I've heard you refer to them, and we'll
now let's test your knowledge. Can you name the Fab Five, the original Fab Five from Michigan? Let's see how good we are.
Weber,
Chris Weber 1.
Howard,
Jawan Howard 2.
Rose,
Jalen Rose,
King,
Jimmy King
Rice,
4. Ray, wasn't it Ray Jackson?
Ray Jackson
was
yes,
the 5th.
Jackson. Yes, Ray Jackson. And that was Bladen Black on the tackle for the Muskie. So he is short.
Great job by the Colts defense there. Who do you want to give credit for? Talon Cannon was in there. I think Isaac Picari, another. Yes. Let's go ahead and throw in number 71. Is that Bailey Kuhn? Yeah, Bailey Kuhn. Those 3 came through with a big play. Going to be a loss of, that's a loss of 5, I believe.
Yeah. So now John Glenn tries to pick it up, but Meadowbrook, that was a big force. So now Winland has to throw. He's going deep. He's got a man, but just misses.
Yeah, it was Kobe Shade.
Shade, yes. So wow, this Meadowbrook defense, who was back on their heels there, come up with a big defensive stop.
So some bend but don't break moments for sure. And this has probably been, obviously you can say the Crooksville game, Meadowbrook got a shutout in that game, but I think this has probably been one of the best defensive efforts for the Meadowbrook team. That I know this is the 3rd time I've seen him in person, and it'd be your 2nd in person, but definitely you can see the improvements made.
I think it is when you consider the offensive firepower John Glenn has. I would say yes, this is their most impressive performance.
Here's the double pass. Make it a triple pass.
Oh, and this is going to be a holding call. It's going to come back. 50, 40, but it's going to come back as a John Glenn player got tackled back here at the 35-yard line. That wasn't obvious.
And
Holding.
talk about a dejected coaching staff for Meadowbrook. The fans are going crazy thinking it's a touchdown. But as astute as you are, you immediately saw the yellow laundry.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there was a takedown there on the throwback. It wasn't so much the hold, but
yeah, no,
he was literally tackled. So that's a.
And unfortunately, that's in the winner for wrestling, and they'd get 2 points for that on a takedown.
So that's the second touchdown taken off the board for Meadowbrook. Now remember, the first one, they answered on that drive. So, but that one is a big one. So now it's first down and 20. Pass is caught, and Meadowbrook's going to get about 15 of those yards back.
That was Rivera on the completion. I think Shade. Yeah, Shade on the tackle.
Man, is Huey really throwing the football well.
Yeah, he's not going with the changeup anymore. He's bringing the four-seam heat every time out there.
Yeah, gain of 13. This is Rivera, and he's stuck and trapped in the backfield, and there goes that man, Barnhouse.
Yep.
Yes.
Barnhouse, Cash was there. Cash Smith was there to clean it up. We got one other guy, 74.
Xanders. So again, what a pivotal play right here for Meadowbrook. 3rd down and 7 from their own 33. This is huge.
Clock's ticking as it's going to be a rollout. Norman.
And Norman, I think he is going to be.
He's going to be a yard short.
No, that's a first down.
Oh.
Right at the sticks. So the quick pitch and catch to Norman. He needed 7, and I think he got 7.
He got 7 in a nose hair to pick up the first down.
So first down and 10. Rivera, again, he is swallowed up. We know Xanders on the initial hit.
So we got a Baker. You're going to feel it, all 280 of him.
So nearing the 8.5-minute mark here in the ball game. Meadowbrook down 7, but got a little drive going here. Huey got a man wide open. He'll get the first down. Over to 45 to the 41. And that is going to be McManaway on the reception.
So give him 15 yards on the play. So Huey's approaching the 200-yard mark as he has 194. And Cooper having a nice game. 3 catches, 65 yards here for the Colts.
And again, the Meadowbrook offensive line giving Huey plenty of time to deliver the football, and he's doing it with confidence. There's that pop pass.
Ooh.
Wow.
And that was read a little bit by there. I believe that was Jake Johnson on the read. He was very close to giving his Muskies possession of the football.
And I tell you, Meadowbrook that is maybe the 5th time they have tried that little pop pass. They've had success with that this season, and John Glenn has it well scouted. Here's that bubble screen.
Dyer's going to get a couple.
So about the 41, he will be ran out of bounds by Cannon Fox.
So here you go, Cannon Fox. His mom's former Muskingum basketball coach, Beth Fox, will throw some family ties in there for you.
Oh, Beth Fox, yes.
He got older brother Gunner that also plays on the team.
Yeah, great lady, and got to know her when she was head coach at John Glenn at Muskingum, did a great job while she was there. Under pressure, and Huey's going to be
big
sacked.
74, so you're on Xanders and Baker. So it's going to be a 3-yard loss, and we're going to have a flag.
Yeah, and this is going to be, I believe, a 15-yard penalty on the Muskies, I believe. We'll see. There's a lot of celebration, unsportsmanlike, against John Glenn.
And that's going to give the Colts a first down.
Wow.
Most importantly.
And that was huge.
And definitely looking on that John Glenn sideline, Coach Edwards not very happy, having a conversation with one of the officials, and tough that he wants to talk to the head official, and he's having he's like, no thanks, we'll catch up after the game. And here's Norman, fakes the inside handoff, keeps it.
And he's going to get inside the 30, maybe a yard. And what happened on the sack, Train, there were 3 Muskies there, and they got up and they were, shoving each other and celebrating. And I think what the ref seen was Huey was still on the ground, and with them around him, they took that as an unsportsmanlike conduct. So, and that's big.
And they got confused on the handoff there. That ball's out.
And John Glenn has it.
And that's just frustrating there for Meadowbrook. Rivera and Huey had a little miscommunication on the play-action fake handoff, and then Muskie's got enough pressure. Nathan Walker, I think, recovered it. He ended up getting the hit as well for John Glenn, and a big turnover on the Colts.
And I couldn't tell, was that going to be another pop pass?
Yeah, I think it was going to be a pop pass. He wanted to fake the handoff to his left, but Rivera was over to the right, and there was a little bit of bump there, just threw the play off. Unfortunately, just kind of a young team making a tough mistake in a critical moment, and Muskie's going to have possession here with 6:51 to go.
And Meadowbrook turns the ball over, Train, after this play. I'll tell you, Meadowbrook actually may have caught a break there. As Windland, he's going to keep it, and man, he's going to get right at the yardstick. But I tell you, when John Glenn goes back and they see this play on film, Walker and a couple of his teammates, you never fault anyone for jumping on the football, but if one of the Muskies pick the ball up, they're in the end zone.
Scoop and score, yeah.
Because Huey got hit and was back there, and there were nothing but white helmets around the football. And if somebody attempts to scoop it, they're in the end zone. But like I said, nothing wrong with making sure you have possession. And Gilcher gets the first down and moves the sticks as when they set it, will be clock going now under 6 minutes left. What a hard-fought victory. Train, we talked about both teams. We thought were playing their best football coming in. John Glenn last week, 21-7 loss to an outstanding Sheridan team, only giving up 7 points after the first 2 possessions the Generals had. In Meadowbrook, 28 points, over 500 yards offense. Windland makes one man miss, 40, 35, and he's going to be down at about the 31-yard line.
So it's going to be a 16-yard gain for Windland.
Cannon, another tackle, but he gets up hobbling a little bit.
So now, right now, John Glenn taking their time, turning on good run after good run. They had, a 9-yard run, a 5-yard run, and now a 16-yard run. So definitely makes life a lot easier when you're turning out positive runs like that.
And, boy, I tell you, Windland, he's quick.
He's had a couple nice runs. His 2 runs this drive have been really nice. His Gilcher's going to power forward.
And, he's going to pick up 4 or 5 yards as the offensive line for the Muskies. Really starting to take over as we're trying to see who.
Yeah, there were so many guys in there on that tackle. Why don't you just name the entire Meadowbrook defense? Somebody stood him up, and then I think there was 30 other guys trying to push him back, and they're only supposed to have 11 on the field.
Yeah, I was looking. I believe was one of the initial tacklers, but not till it's a gain of 7. Fake to Ryder, and this is going to go to Thompson. I think that's maybe his first completion.
It's the first catch by someone not named Walker. So a 4-yard gain on the play.
So Gilcher getting a little breather here. And I tell you, Ryder Rock in there. He's only had a couple of carries, but one of them was huge. And now John Glenn letting a little air out of the ball here. Windland's going to keep it.
I believe Bailey Kuhn was the first one to make the contact, driving him forward.
Man, good eye. As it was Kuhn, and also getting up Cannon. Boy, Talon Cannon, he is definitely going to be in the running for our KGP Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, I believe he's got a fumble recovery tonight as well as numerous tackles.
Yeah, I would say he's in the double digits when it comes to tackles, are definitely assisting on. So now 2nd and 9. 3:19 clock running. And that's Gilcher, and he's got a big hole over to 15. He's going to be short of the first down. But now, you know, the Meadowbrook with 3 timeouts.
That's exactly what I was thinking. When are you going to decide now? Obviously, it's 3rd down. You got to hope, best case scenario, if you're Meadowbrook, that you can stop them here on 3rd and 4th down. It's saying they don't kick a field goal, get possession, and then you have all 3 timeouts when you're on offense. So this is a big next 2 plays here.
Oh, and and you knew it was coming. They're going to get the 5-yard penalty. Train, there were 20 seconds on the play clock, and you knew Windland wasn't going to have the ball snap with that. And a nice job by John Glenn. They hustled to the line and then was able to pick up.
I guess this is kind of a positive or negative. Negative, obviously, John Glenn got the first down, but now you're talking John Glenn's going to get good for a touchdown or kick a field goal there.
If the snap and hold are good. But you know they want a touchdown, and Gilcher.
And Cannon was on the tackle on that one.
And now Meadowbrook will take a timeout. So 1:57 left, and Cambridge now leading 25-18. So excitement there. And Train, speaking of excitement, it's time to knock off our Pick 6 segment.
I've been waiting
tomorrow.
I've been waiting for this all night.
You know, once again, this segment named after anyone that's seen you quarterback in high school know where we got the Pick 6 from. And, hey, let's go to Jerry's World tomorrow night. My beloved Razorbacks, number 10 in the country, take on Texas A&M.
Boy, I tell you what, A&M had a rough game against App State, rebounded and beat Miami, Florida. Your Razorbacks are a little bit beat up right now. A&M in a slugfest, 9-6.
Oh, you break my heart. How about Clemson? Battle of unbeaten. Clemson at Wake Forest. Wake Forest ranked 21 in the country, 21st, and Clemson number 5. Survey says.
I'm not a fan of Dabo, but I think the Tigers are going to pull it off.
All right, we'll get some other ones here coming up after the next timeout. So the Muskies, 2nd down and goal from the 5. Tight formation. Windland keeps it, cuts up to the 1. Touchdown, Muskies. And that may, for all intents and purposes, wrap this up for the Muskies. Of course, if you watched Jets and Browns Sunday, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. That's why they play till the final whistle. And obviously, unfortunately for the Browns fans, they found out. But unfortunately for Browns fans, they're kind of used to having unfortunate things happen to them. I remember as a kid watching Ernest Biner in the 80s fumble in the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. And obviously there's been numerous years where and here's another flag being thrown as both teams are leaving the field. So apparently somebody said something.
Yeah, after the extra point, good by Rector. So touchdown run by Winland. So with 1:52 left. 28-14. And Train, I was asking you, your Clemson Wake Forest game, who did you pick?
I said I don't like Dabo, but I'm going to take the Clemson Tigers.
All right, and here's a big rivalry in the SEC. Florida at Tennessee.
I tell you what, there's not too many songs that are good after a touchdown as Rocky Top, Tennessee. So I'm going to pick it just because of Rocky Top, Tennessee is why I'm picking the Volunteers.
All right, and Train, USC, they're ranked 7th. They travel to Corvallis to take on Oregon State, a Beaver team that's undefeated, and they've looked impressive.
I tell you what, they won't be undefeated by the end of Saturday night. Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams, those two coming over to USC's really got that program taking it to another level. Bringing it back to the days when they had Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart.
How about Texas at Texas Tech?
I tell you what, upset alert. Texas Tech's going to pull off this upset. I think Texas is still struggling without Ewers, who maybe should have stayed at Ohio State, but we'll leave that where it is.
And Wisconsin travels to the shoe, to the Buckeyes.
Well, Finn came away very impressed with him. He may be the best quarterback that Ohio State sees in the regular season. That kid looks like he could compete in the Big Ten for sure.
So the penalty was against John Glenn. So Rector has to kick from his own 20. This will give the Meadowbrook pretty decent field position at the 44-yard line. Buck 48 left.
Jake Johnson and Christopher Wise were combined on the tackle as the Colts are going to start at their own 44, minute 48 to go. So I think Meadowbrook has one timeout left. It's going to be got to move now.
Huey looking. He's got time. Throws it.
Oh!
That
Cooper McManaway couldn't haul it in. I think that Muskie defender, number 15,
Johnson,
Jake Johnson, kind of got in front of him and blocked his vision just a little bit. He couldn't quite reel it in. It's going to go down as an incomplete.
So got a final from McFarland Stadium. The Cambridge Bobcats rally and knock off Martins Ferry 25-18. Buckeye Trail continues to shut out TCC.
It's going to be an 8-yard completion to Dyer.
Dyer, yes, he will get to about the 48-yard line.
And with that completion, young Mr. Huey goes over 200 yards passing. I got him down unofficially for 203 yards.
I tell you, he is.
That's very unofficial.
But what's not unofficial is a very impressive night from the youngster. He has thrown the football well against a tough Muskie defense who's coming. And there's a jailbreak, and they are going to drop Huey. They haven't had many sacks, but they're going to drop him back at the 39, and Meadowbrook has to take an immediate timeout.
So Clay Mathers on the sack for the Muskies.
And Train, this is going to set up about 4th down and Senecaville to go.
First down, or it's time to head on to week 7 versus Coshocton. And I know Coshocton's playing probably, in my opinion, the best team in the small school, New Lexington, tonight. So I know there's a live stream on that depending on my availability this weekend, I might have to enjoy a few moments of it to get a feel of Coshocton. Obviously, you're going to see that wing tee more than likely, maybe a spread out of the wing tee. They're going to be a physical, hard-fought team, as Coach Smith up there always has his team ready to prepare to play. And I know they're having a little bit of a struggle record-wise this year, but they're going to be ready. And Nulex won that game 39-7.
Yeah, and that will be homecoming next week from Byesville. Speaking of homecoming, me and the BT Hall of Famer Chris Starr will be in Old Washington for the Malvern Hornets. And there's a fumble. Train, you had the sack, which on third down, which John Glenn ended up getting a unsportsmanlike conduct on celebrating, which kept the Meadowbrook drive alive. Then the next third down, they were able to get the sack and fumble on Huey. And then on this drive, they added 2 more sacks. So John Glenn with 4 sacks on the last 2 drives of the game to really seal the deal. So
I think they kind of switched up some positions.
And it will be. So a big win. We talked about 2 teams coming in, both 1-4, both playing their best football, and both teams put that on display tonight. But in the end, it's John Glenn who will score the last 14 points of this game to come out with a 28-14 victory, as John Glenn moves to 2-4. Meadowbrook drops to 1-5, but Meadowbrook back at home next week. I'll look to regroup against the Coshocton Redskins. So 28-14 John Glenn. I'll tell you what, we'll take our final timeout, come back and wrap things up here on KGP TV in Byesville. Welcome back to Eugene Capers Field on the campus of Meadowbrook High School, where we've seen an exciting high school football game as the visiting John Glenn Muskies come in and get a big road win. This is how the scoring went. All the first half scoring came in the first quarter, where John Glenn, on their second possession of the game, would drive it down, and it would be Lincoln Gilcher who would run it in from 2 yards out. Rector's extra point was good, and with 7:31 left in the first quarter, John Glenn would lead 7-0. John Glenn would then force a punt and then move the ball quickly downfield and finish it off with a Ryder Rock 39-yard touchdown run Rector's extra point was good, and with 4:40 left in the first quarter, John Glenn was out to a early 14-0 lead. But then Meadowbrook would answer, driving down, and after having a 22-yard touchdown pass from Huey to Norman called back because of a penalty, Meadowbrook would convert a 3rd and long, get down 1st and goal, and then Dalen Rivera, who would come in and step in nicely for the injured Sam Bopp. Bopp left the game after taking a big hit, but our last word is that Sam was walking around okay and was doing just fine, so that's great news, and we'll keep Sam in our prayers as well that he can get back soon for Meadowbrook. But Rivera's 4-yard touchdown around the right end with 29 seconds left in the opening quarter. Milam's extra point would make it 14-7. Both teams would go scoreless in the second quarter with an incredible 5 possessions in the final 3 minutes of the first half, with neither team able to score, and John Glenn would go to the locker room with a 14-7 lead. Then in the third quarter, Meadowbrook would get a drive going and would cap it off with a Justice Huey to Mason Blankenship 7-yard touchdown pass and reception. With exactly 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, Meadowbrook would tie the game after a Milam extra point at 14. But then maybe the biggest play of the game, John Glenn facing a 4th down and 3 from their own 49-yard line. And it would be Noah Windland on 4th and 3. He would hit Walker over the middle, and Nathan Walker would take the short reception, turn upfield, and take it 51 yards to the house for the touchdown. Rector's extra point was good, and with 2:32 left in the third quarter, John Glenn would go back on top 21-14, and then John Glenn would get a sack and fumble, and then they would drive it down and finish off the game with a Noah Windland 5-yard touchdown run with 1:52 left in the contest. Rector's extra point was good, and John Glenn would close out the game with 14 unanswered points to break a tie and win 28-14. And now we'll look at our final stats.
Yeah, they traded 14s. John Glenn scored 14, then Meadowbrook scored 14, then Muskies finished with 14 more. So maybe if we had another quarter to play, maybe Meadowbrook will get their 14 tied up at 28. Looking down individually, John Glenn Victors improved to 2-4, 37 carries, 143 yards. Leading the way was Logan Gilcher, 21 carries, 75 yards. Ryder Rock had 2 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown. And Noah Windland, 13 carries, 30 yards. Jake Johnson had a 2-yard loss on his lone carry. Noah Windland was 8 of 14 passing, 154 yards, and a touchdown. His main man, Nathan Walker, finished with 7 of those 8 receptions for 150 yards and a touchdown. And Gates Thompson had a 4-yard reception. For the Colts, finished 31 carries for 36 yards on the night. So a tough day running the ball for the Colts. Leading them, Justice Huey had 11 carries for 25 yards. Dalen Rivera, who came in for Sam Bopp, had 11 carries, 7 yards. Sam Bopp had the injury in the first half and finished with only 4 carries, 3 yards. Nick Norman, 5 carries, 4 yards, and Evan Dyer had a loss of 3 on his only carry. Another good contest from Justice Huey, throwing for over 200 yards again for the second straight week. He was 19 of 35 passing, 204 yards, and a touchdown pass. His leading receiver, Evan Dyer, had 7 receptions for 69 yards. Looking through my information here, don't want to mess up. Cooper Manaway, 3 catches, 65 yards. Mason Blankenship, 3 catches, 28 yards, and the touchdown. Nick Norman, 5 catches, 23 yards, and Dalen Rivera, 2 catches for 20 yards for the Colts. And KGP will be back here next week. It'll be myself and Kyle Wimland, the reigning Rookie of the Year color analyst of KGP Sports. We'll be back homecoming night as the Coshocton Redskins come to Meadowbrook. So we're looking forward to that game and looking forward to continue seeing the growth of this young Meadowbrook team. We definitely saw a lot of things that look good, and just unfortunately some kind of hiccups here and there that hurt the Colts in critical moments.
Yeah, Meadowbrook goes down, but I tell you what, one of their better played games of the year, and just you'll give them a lot of credit. They're playing their best football right now. And Coach Norman not going to be happy with the loss. This is a game they will look back and they had their chances, but credit John Glenn. They've got some playmakers, and they made the plays when they had to. And like you said, KGP be on the airwaves next week. Coshocton at Meadowbrook here in Byesville, homecoming, as well as in Old Washington. Me and the BT Hall of Famer Chris Starr will bring you that game as the Malvern Hornets come into Old Washington and Buckeye Trail getting their first victory tonight. Yeah, and we should have, good Lord willing, have the head coach of the Warriors, Donnie Kearns, on the KGP pregame show this coming week. So tune in to KGP Sports for that broadcast, which should air Thursday evening. And speaking of airing, Train, we could not have gotten on the air without our lovely producer, Kaylee Smith, who flew in here at a moment's notice.
Literally.
Yes. With all the technical difficulties we had, sometimes with streaming, it just doesn't want to go right. She came in and worked feverishly to keep us on the air, so we want to thank
I don't know what her 40 time is, but Deion Sanders would have been proud the way she came sprinting in here to run the camera and everything for us.
But we want to thank her, as well as our sponsors and you out there who took some of your Friday evening and spent it with us. And once again, from Eugene Capers Field, your final score: John Glenn 28, Meadowbrook 14. Everybody have a great weekend and a safe one at that. And we'll see you next week here on KGP TV.